What is going on, you guys? Welcome to the Rage C podcast. This is your host, Cristopher Zamora. Welcome to the show. So today, guys, I would like to speak to you about Terence Crawford. He has announced that he is retiring from boxing. He is no longer going to fight anymore, and I think that's a great thing. That is a great thing for him because I think it was about like 2 to 3 years ago when he went on Joe Rogan's podcast. He mentioned that he really wanted to fight Canelo Alvarez, and then he was gonna go out. He was gonna go out with a bang, and that's it. Yeah, that's great for him because he got a win against one of the greatest boxers as of today, Canelo Alvarez, and he retired undefeated. Let me see, what is his actual record? Because it is an impressive record for him, but we'll see how much he has. Terence Crawford actually retired with 42 wins, 0 losses, and 0 draws. The only actual fights I only saw him on, it was when he went up against Errol Spence Jr. and this guy named Israel Madrimov. I remember that Israel Madrimov guy. He actually gave him a good fight, to be honest, and I feel like maybe that could have gone into a draw, but Terence Crawford actually did a little bit more than Israel Madrimov. It could have been a draw, but yeah, they gave it to him. And like the last fight that he went up against Saul Canelo Alvarez. Yeah, I think that's great because he just ended his career on a high note against one of the better boxers today. That's great for him, man, because, man, him retiring, that sucks because I really wanted to see more of him actually, defending his titles. I only really got to see just a little bit of him because I just barely just started watching boxing again. Like back in, I believe it was in the year 2021, right after COVID, there was nothing else to watch. And so the fight that brought me back into boxing was watching Manny Pacquiao fight. And Manny Pacquiao, he had a fight against Jordanis Ugas. And guess what? He actually lost that fight by unanimous decision. Yeah, it did suck because I was going for him, Manny Pacquiao. One of the greats that I saw growing up when I was younger. And like the last fight I saw, I think it was him, Manny Pacquiao, versus Floyd Mayweather. I think maybe that was the last final fight that I saw before actually someone, retired of actually watching boxing altogether. But then I came back and actually saw these new guys in the boxing industry, like Tyson Fury, Anthony Joshua, Usyk, and many more, like Deontay Wilder, mostly like the heavyweight division, and also the lightweight division. They were making noise over there too, like Ryan Garcia, Teofimo Lopez as well, Shakur Stevenson, and let's not forget about Tank Davis. Yeah, these guys, they were making noise in their division at the time, and yeah, so right now, Teofimo Lopez and Shakur Stevenson, they're finally making it come true. But as for Tank Davis, I don't know what's going on with him. Supposedly he was going to fight Jake Paul, but now we don't know what is going on with him. He just, a lot of things happening, for him. And also, Teofimo Lopez, he's going up against Shakur Stevenson in the beginning of the year, supposedly. Let's see how that one goes because I'm actually rooting for Teofimo Lopez for the win. Hopefully they don't cancel it. But, there's always a chance that maybe it's not going to happen, This is what happens. Some fights are made and then they're just canceled just like that. For example, like Tank Davis versus Lomachenko. That fight, there were talks that they were actually going to have a fight against each other. But it never happened. It never did happen. Yeah. So we'll see, man. So now Terence Crawford has retired. Now, what is he going to do? Well, we'll see. We'll hear the news. But that's awesome that he retired undefeated against one of the better boxers of today, you know. Now, moving on, guys. The other thing I wanted to speak to you about is about the UFC. The UFC, like I mentioned before in the other podcasts, they actually are moving to Paramount Plus, and you will be able to watch the UFC there. I have a tweet right here stating what they're going to do now since they have acquired the UFC on Paramount Plus. So look, it says right here, Paramount Plus, it is set to raise prices and phase out free trials in 2026. The Paramount Plus Essential Plan will increase by $1 to $8.99 per month, and the Paramount Plus Premium Plan will rise by $1 to $13.99 per month. Prices increase from January 15, 2026. Yeah, that is not bad. That is definitely not bad. We're just actually still going to get the UFC on Paramount Plus, and they're just increasing their subscription just by $1. That is not bad. That is way better than Disney Plus, or HBO Max, always increasing their prices by like $2 to $3 each time. That's good. That is actually a reasonable price because the UFC, that is like one of the major sports going on, and lots of people watch it, and so okay, it is fair to increase the prices. They had a reason to, and yeah, the UFC, man, is coming to Paramount Plus. The very first poster already came out for the pay-per-view that we're going to have. It's going to be Gaethje versus Pimblett for UFC 324 on January the 24th on Saturday. Oh, and the co-main event is going to be Harrison versus Amanda Nunes. We'll see how those fights actually go. I have mentioned that hopefully Paddy the Baddy actually gets a win against Gaethje. So maybe like in the future, maybe during the summertime, it will probably have talks of Ilia Topuria versus him against each other, like during the summertime. Like that could be a good White House event. We don't know how they're actually gonna do it with that UFC White House event. Maybe Islam Makhachev versus Ilia Topuria. That'd be awesome. There's actual talks that maybe John Jones versus Francis Ngannou. Oh, now that would be an awesome fight, but Francis is on a different platform now. He's not on the UFC. He's not under contract with them. He's on the PFL. But there's always a chance, how they did with Mayweather versus Conor McGregor. There's different sports, and they all came together and made one event. We don't know. Maybe that can actually happen once again. And plus, they're both MMA guys, so yeah. It'll be a very competitive matchup. But will they ever make it? We will see. We'll actually see how that actually goes down, But yeah, man. That White House event for UFC is actually really happening. I really thought that was just talks, just some talks, that rumors that was gonna happen. But no, it's actually true. Dana White has confirmed it. That it's actually going to happen during the summertime. And maybe Conor McGregor might actually make a comeback. But nah, I doubt it, man. I remember I made a podcast a long time ago of him not coming back to the UFC. I feel like he's like happy now. He's happy that he's not actually fighting. He's at peace. I feel like just him losing to Dustin Poirier, I think that was his very last fight. Highly doubt him and that he's still gonna come back. If he does, great for him, but no, I don't think he is. Now, the other thing I wanted to speak to you about is about some video games. Have you guys ever played Dead Island? I did play the very first Dead Island game a long time ago. Maybe I was like 12 to 13 years old when I played it. Dead Island, it was one of those games that it did somewhat scare me, but it was a pretty entertaining game. Like, I remember my friend letting me borrow the game. That was a very fun one. And there's going to be a Dead Island 3. It says right here it's officially in development with a target release window of 2028. Now, I do have the Dead Island 2 game on the Steam, but I just haven't been playing. Like, the only games right now I'm actually playing is Final Fantasy 20, I don't know, XVI. No, that's 15. Yeah, that's gotta be 15, right? Or 16. I kind of don't know my Roman numerals, but Final Fantasy XVI. I think that is 16. XVI. I've been playing that one, and also the new Alien video game. That game actually kind of does reminds me of Alien Isolation in a way, and to be honest, it's not bad as of right now. I've only played maybe like an hour in the game. It's pretty entertaining. The new Alien game is called Alien Rogue Incursion Evolve Edition. Yeah, that game it does remind me of Alien Isolation, and it's pretty creepy in a way because you're able to use guns, to go up against the aliens, but they come after you, and the aliens, they don't mess around. They just pop out of nowhere and you just gotta take them down. Yeah, it's pretty dope, man. Pretty good games. That one, Final Fantasy 16, I never actually played none of those games, but that one is actually pretty entertaining. I probably have maybe about 5 hours in the game. Yeah, it's pretty entertaining game. The last thing I want to speak to you about is about Warner Brothers. It says right here, Warner Brothers has rejected Paramount's $108 billion hostile bid. The company said it's confident that our merger with Netflix represents superior, more certain value. So Paramount, man, they really were trying to buy Warner Brothers, but they were rejected by Warner Brothers. They really believe that Netflix, them taking over all their IPs, is going to be a great thing. I don't know, man. Time will tell. We'll see how that turns out. And there was some news of Netflix, like the main CEO of that company, stating that they're still going to have movies showing up at the movie theaters for maybe like 1 or 2 weeks, and then they're going to actually just put it on their platform. We'll see, man. Damn, it's just still so surprising that Netflix, out of all of them, Netflix actually bought Warner Brothers. And that merger is actually going to end around summertime. Yeah. Warner Brothers actually rejected Paramount's bid of $108 billion, dude. That's a lot of money. Netflix offered them $80 billion. Only time will tell how that actually is going to be. We'll see, man. And yeah, guys, that is it for this podcast. Hey, thank you so much for listening. If you guys did enjoy it, make sure to follow it, and also recommend this podcast to a friend or neighbor that actually likes listening to stuff about pop culture stuff, combat sports, or anything horror related. Maybe they will enjoy this podcast as much as you do. And yeah, guys, that is it. Take care and live to the fullest. Bye.